Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here with you. Excuse me. It is good to be here. I have missed you so much, and I hope that everything in your world is good. I hope that you're doing well. I send my love, as always, to one and all. New subscribers, I'm so happy to have you here. Old subscribers that aren't old but are just seasoned wonderfully, I'm always happy to have you here. Love your comments. I'm a little out of breath because I have been trying to, as you can see in the background, been trying to put up a few of my quilts to show you several months ago, and I don't recall which wonderful subbie it was that asked me about this. She said, would you be willing to sometimes show us your quilts, your quilt tops? Because I've mentioned that I'm a quilter turned mixed media artist, into the paper and fabric now, which I absolutely love. And I said, yes, but I haven't done it. And so, excuse me, let me get a drink. Yay for ice water. Anyway, so I thought that part of today's video would be to show you some of the things that I have done in the past. Some of these are finished quilt tops, mini quilts, wall quilts, if you will. There are a few that are quilt top size, but I'm not really showing you much of that. And most of them have gone to my grandkids. Anyway, okay, so let's just, without further ado, let me just kind of show you, take you down this path with me. So, this is my owl quilt. Years ago, I was in a group, an online quilting group, and we just quilted and talked about it and such, and I designed this. The back is very colorful, very pretty fall. I love to applique. And let's see, let's get it where you can see. And I quilted it. This was just a fun thing. Anyway, love that. And in some of my homes, I have displayed a lot of these, but not all. And I don't have room to really do a lot of displaying here. So here's another one that I have loved paper piecing. And this is a paper pieced block. And of course, I found the block, and then I just, kind of designed around it what was pleasing to me and quilted. And this one I made in 2006. So, this one, let me see if you can get the whole. This one is kind of, well, let's see. Let's do it this way. Kind of out there a little bit. It's a little bit modern, but I had so much fun working with it. And of course, the back is a bunch of squares, but let me tell you about it. So I entered a contest from, what was the fabric? What's the name of the fabric manufacturers? That's terrible. I've forgotten. Did I write it down? Fall of 2013, Henry Glass Fabrics. It was a challenge, and I entered, and they sent me a bunch of fabric. These are all Henry Glass fabrics. And so I just kind of went to town and did applique, but I didn't do it needle turned applique. I did it just raw edge, and just had so much fun with this, so much color. And I had already been starting to play with my flowers and things like that to get a little bit of texture, you know, up from the quilt itself. And so this was a real fun one. And they were very, very pleased. And I was pleased. So it was like, okay, that was a fun thing to do. Okay. I used to also be very much into thimbleberries fabrics. Loved, loved. This was a pattern I didn't design. Well, I guess I put it together, but I took blocks that are not my design. It was thimbleberries. And then I quilted that. Just a nice table runner. This one, isn't that sweet? I just love this. I was really getting into more of the mixed media, kind of the texture stuff going on. So I was clipping and stitching, and so just stitched all my backgrounds together. Just designed this, just a fun little wall quilt. I love it. I love it. As you can tell by my color palette, in my quilting, I do have some of the muted tones and the antique type look, but for the most part, I've been a bright girl. Excuse me, bright and cheery. So this one was designed to describe a little bit about my state. Well, this is when I lived in Washington. And we lived on the Palouse, which has beautiful in spring and summer, beautiful fields, harvest. This is wheat, grasses, canola, and they're rolling. They're just rolling hills, and it's just gorgeous. So I designed this to replicate those beautiful hills, and then I put this for the rays of sun coming down. And then I also did these apples because Washington State is known for its apples. And then, of course, the others are just paper pieced. This, these are my, oh gosh, Ronda, what are they? The tiny little that you put your scraps together and have, I can't think of what they're called right now, but there's a name. There is a name. And then trees too, because of the beautiful forests around us. So that was a fun one to design. And then I just put just a fun little piece on the back. No biggie. Now, this next one, I have to do a little bit of digging to find my third hanger. It's been misplaced. As you can see, I have a spot for 3 little tiny mini quilts. And it's, they come off. But this, I love. This is hand embroidery work that I have done. And paper pieced tree that I have created. And then this is a little pocket that you can put a little sprig of flowers, little dried flowers or whatever coming out. And I just think this is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And you got another little pocket here. Love this so much. And as I'm bringing these out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to find space on my walls. This is driving me nuts. But until I do, they'll probably get folded again and put away. Okay, here we go with another. This was a quilt as you go method, and it's not my favorite method to use, but I wanted to try it. And I like the outcome. I think it looks nice. It's been kind of bunched up as it's been sitting in a pile. That will iron out nicely. But this again was using thimbleberry fabrics. And I just thought that was, excuse me, really pretty. Excuse me, I don't know why I am coughing so much. Apologize. Square in a square. Crumb blocks. Crumb blocks that I showed you. The little teeny, you take your fabric crumbs and you stitch them together and you make little crumb blocks. Thank you. This is a square in a square. Kind of a variation on a log cabin, but you just surround it, and then I've quilted it. Just a fun little wall quilt. And even just really small, these are mug rug size. Have you ever heard of mug rugs? In the quilting world, I don't know if it's still popular or not, but back in the day, it was popular to have just a small little quilt, a mug rug, that's basically the size where you can put a drink and a little snack in your area where you're sitting. And so I made several of these. I exchanged with other quilters. And so these again are mostly thimbleberry. This is not a thimbleberry print, but the rest of these, and that is not, but the rest of these are. And as I got designing, I thought, well, why not? This just was really fun to do. Just, add a little button, just do the little, anyway, just some more little fun mug rugs that I designed. Exchanged a lot of them, sent a lot of them to people. I did some, as you do for Christmas gifts and whatnot, and had a little note, had a little poem that goes with it, with the mug rug thing. But here again, I was doing raw edge applique and designing my own. For a period of time, I just really got into houses too. And so just wonky houses were just super fun. And here's another one, just with the hearts, and did this like a rag quilt, where you clip, you stitch it together and your seams are on the front, and then you clip it all so that it has that kind of look to it. So this was really pretty. And another thimbleberries with my crumb blocks, which is amazing. You can take one tiny little piece and add it to other tiny little pieces, and I absolutely love this. And I will show you when I show you the other quilts behind me, a top that I have made from the crumb blocks. Okay, here's another one. It's got some kitties. These are all paper pieced blocks. They come out, they're perfectly, that's one thing that I love about paper piecing in the quilting world is you follow a paper pattern is what you do. You stitch on the lines and then you trim it back, and they just come out perfectly. You don't get wonky. You get nice straight lines. And that's partly why I was so anal turning from quilting to mixed media and paper, is that it's like, you've got to trim your seams. It's taken me forever to be able to have a little bit of thread on my, in my journaling and whatnot. It's like, you gotta cut that off. But it's because I've been in this world for so long. But I still love it. And when I come back and I look at these things, it's just like, oh, that was so much fun. Okay, so let me move the view again, and we will pull down another one. Of course, it has the fold lines and whatnot, but this is one that I designed. This is my pattern that I designed the trees. And of course I did these in colors to represent fall. But this took me quite a while to design this particular block pattern. And then I've just sewn blocks together and just done, you know, just the leaves follow, you know, to follow it around. And I think we'll go ahead and set some of these back down. This is, of course, this is a traditional log cabin. Well, it's not traditional, because traditional, you would not have, oh, it's wonky. Okay, traditional, these would be straight, but they're not. They're crooked, they're wonky. And this also is a paper pieced pattern, but I love it, absolutely love it. And there again, this was done with thimbleberry fabrics. And I really, I don't know if I even have any thimbleberry fabrics left. I really haven't done this intense quilting for a long time. Okay, so let's, oops, my whole, whoa, okay. Well, you're there, I'm here trying to keep my screen up from falling on me. Sorry. Okay. So this again is another one that I designed. And these are the same blocks that I showed you on the bigger one. Oh, the bigger fall trees. This is the block paper piece that I designed. Very intricate. And then I did flying geese and, you know, your squares around it. And then just appliqued. So this is just a nice table topper. Or wall quilt. Whatever you desire it to be. And I hope this is somewhat interesting to you guys. I apologize if I'm being boring. Please forgive me. I'm not trying to be boring, but I wasn't sure how to really do what my subscriber asked without, you know, to make it nice. Okay, this is a traditional star. I made a few of these. And I've sold some of my quilt tops and quilts and whatnot through the years. And I have given away, I don't know, a lot of quilting projects and whatnot to people through the years. To the point where I think my kids are just like, oh, she got another one. But this is a very difficult pattern. And to get it right, you have to be very precise with your blocks. This is not paper pieced, but it was a labor of love. And I kept one for myself, you know, because it was like, oh, I'll never do these again. After I had done, you know, a few, it was like, oh, I can't do those anymore. That's too much work. But I did keep one. And then here I designed just a fun Easter quilt. No rhyme or reason. This again is paper pieced. I designed that. And then this little block, and just added, you know, I just think it's really sweet. I like it. And there again, I gravitate to the light and pretty colors, springy and vibrant and whatnot. I just think they're so pretty. Let me get one. This one, I'll have to take a minute to tell you about. Just one sec. Let me This was a project that I was going to do with you today, but we'll see. We'll see where we go with this. Okay. You know, I have talked about my I Spy blocks and quilts and things. This is a very special one. Let me see if I can zoom in closer for you. I don't know if that's very clear. Is that clear? That block is not clear, but this is a memory I Spy quilt of my mother, my wonderful, wonderful mother, who is looking down from heaven and watching over us. So grateful for this wonderful, good lady, and so thankful that she's my mom. So I have taken things that were important to her. She loved nature. She loved flowers. Iris were her favorite flowers. And this is actually a picture of her iris, part of her iris garden. You can't see it here too terribly well. I can see that, but it does show the iris up very nicely. When my mother was in high school, she had an art project that she and another lady or girl worked on, and they did these little. So I have that. I have that piece, and I copied it and then put it onto fabric. So these are her own drawings. This one and this one and this one and this one. They had to do like a newspaper kind of thing, and it's really cool. And then this is a picture of my mother, my wonderful mother. And this is another one of her. This is one of her when she saw the Atlantic Ocean. And of course they didn't wear slacks in that day. It was always looking nice dresses. And this is she and my dad on their honeymoon when they were married. She was a war bride. And this is her as a little girl. And this is another drawing on the newspaper that Mom and her friend did. And this was my mother later in life in her flowers. Just, let me see if I can show you that at least. Oh, okay, some of these are showing up a little bit more. This is her family. Just, So this type of a quilt, I absolutely love doing. I fray the edges. You can print on your fabrics and then find other little I Spy type, pieces. And then you put it together like a mosaic, only it's all separated, but it really stands out. And I just think I've only done 4 or 5 of these, as a wall quilt type thing. And this is my mother's father right here. And their family right here. Log cabin days. Just, anyway, that is a very special one to me. I will never get rid of this. When I die, it will go to somebody. But not planning on dying anytime soon. I hope. We'll see. Okay, now, here's a hello red, hello pink, pink and red. So this quilt top was an exchange in the online group that I had. Not all of these blocks are mine. what I did was I put them together, and I had small blocks and larger blocks, and then I added and subtracted and, you know, to did the math to make a top out of it. Like, let's see, I'm trying to show you. Well, okay, so this is my block. This is my block. This is my block. This is my block. This is me. That one up there is me. I've got 2 or 3 down here. Let's see if we can take this off without causing it to fold. Oops, 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 oops. Oh well. I knew this was going to be... Ah! Hello, hello. Where's the hubby when you need him? He's over at the Sun's doing... They're working on something. Okay. I think that'll hold for a minute. Okay, so anyway, so this is like a twin size, and it just, you know, just a fun thing that I did way back when. I still have a whole bunch of blocks that, I don't know, guys, at this point, am I honestly going to do anything with them? Reality is probably not. Isn't that pretty? I did that block, and I did that block too. Anyway, a lot of paper piecing back in that day. Now, this was a dog quilt. Same kind of thing where, all right. Hello. And then she said, knock it off, you guys. This is not funny anymore. Okay. So let's get hurrying on this part. I don't even remember what dogs I made. Oh, this was one of mine right here. And then, of course, I put all the filler ones in and did fabrics. It's quite a project. I used to have a design wall, which was basically flannel, taking up a whole wall in my studio. And that you could just put blocks on, fabric blocks, and just kind of work around that way. And so I did a lot of things with the design wall, which was very helpful. Okay, and then here we have the house quilt. I love this. I absolutely love this. I've got fun and funky. I have a few that were sent to me, and I did a whole bunch myself. This was sent to me. This was sent to me. This that you can't see. This was sent to me. This was sent to me. This was sent to me. But a lot of these big, bright, and bold, whatever. Then I did a bunch of paper piecing that you can't see. Ay, ay, ay. When I planned on doing this one, hubby was going to help me. And I should have waited. But I just, you know, I haven't seen you guys. And I just wanted to show you. And, oh, this is turning out to be a mess. I'm so sorry. But this is why I have to really clean house. And I have to get rid of some of these things. I just can't keep everything forever. I mean, I don't know. So, this is a finished quilt. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to think of which blocks. This was someone sent me. This took a little bit of work. Someone sent me, and I had to really work on trying to get it so it would fit. This was sent to me. This was sent to me. This was sent to me, and then I did the bigger block. So I had smaller blocks and then created some of the big ones myself. And let's see if we can get here. So this is just a spring, just a pretty fun spring quilt. So, and then these are those blocks I told you about. So we're almost done, almost done. For those of you that are not into the quilting, I do apologize. I hope that it's been a little bit enjoyable, even though you may not be a quilter, and I don't do much of it anymore. I can still love and appreciate, you know, what people have done. Oh, okay, this is it. This is the crumb block quilt. As you can see, we get this up close. All of those, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 16 blocks to make a block. And then periodically, I would do one like this in there. And some of these are very intense. Let's see. There's a tree that I put in there, this little tree. And see the frog? Paper piece the frog. So I'm trying to show you. Like there's another tree and there's another frog. So I threw in for the eye, you know, a little bit here and there, and then there's the sailboat. Anyway, okay. That is all I think I'll show you on my of my quilts. I have more finished, more unfinished, more, and then unfortunately in various stages of, you know, like lots of blocks, but not lots of I'm tired. Now I'm tired. All right. So let's look at the time, see if we have time to deviate into other things like I was going to show you. A little bit tired. So I had, I should update you on my cancer journey and explain to you where I've been the last couple of weeks. I know I haven't done a video for several days. Honestly, I've just been tired. I've just been really, really tired. And I have slept a good portion of that time. And unfortunately, part of the other time that, you know, that I haven't been sleeping, I've just been like, I can't think of anything to do. It's like my mojo has just been like gone. I just like, you know, I want to chat with my friends. What can I work on? What can I do that would be interesting? And I might start to try to do something, and then it's just like, ugh. And so I just sit. With my arms folded at my studio here, right like this, and I'd just be like, totally nothing. I mean, I did do a couple of little things, but, and I got, I made up some orders of my altered book pages. So I got a few orders out from my Etsy shop and whatnot. But as far as really feeling creative and like excited about what I'm doing, none of that. Nothing. And that's really hard for me. When I don't create, I can get depressed. I can get down. And I will share with you, you guys, I'm normal like everybody else. I mean, so many of you are so kind and you say you're so strong and you do, and I do. I just appreciate those comments so much. But I don't feel all that strong, at least not always. Sometimes I feel, okay, I'm handling it. And sure enough, when I start to thinking, oh well, I'm doing okay, then something hits, and I either can't think of anything to share, to create, to work on, or I'm just ornery. I'm ornery. My poor husband, he's such a good guy. But anyway, so about a week ago, I had a meltdown. I had a major meltdown. I haven't had one of those in a really long time. And I just crying, like, just crying to beat the band. And poor hubby's like, oh. And my son that's staying here with us for a while, upstairs, he's like, you okay, Mom? Yeah, fine. Just having a meltdown. So they're like kind of walking on eggshells. And what do we do? She's not. But I just think I just needed a really good cry. After I had a really good cry, I felt better. I don't know, felt better. And of course I know that so many of you are praying for me, and I just can't thank you enough. I love you, and I appreciate your prayers, and I know they help. And I know that some of you don't believe in that, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Well wishes and happy thoughts absolutely count, for sure. But I know that the Lord's there and that He's watching over me, and whatever is to be will be. So the PET scan, the results of the PET scan, I'll catch you up there, were good and bad. At the same time, it was like very mixed. So I had to wait another week to be able to get into Dr. Doro. And it was the night before I met with Dr. Doro that I had my meltdown. So I think that was part of it too, is because I didn't know how to read, what it was saying on the PET scan. Because on one hand, some spots had reduced in size considerably, which was like, yeah. But on the other hand, it showed that I had a whole bunch more cancer in the bones going down through my tailbone now. And so it was like, anyway, but Dr. Doro said that the reason that the PET scan showed improvement on the T3 and T4 is because of the radiation that I had a couple of months ago. Because they targeted the breast and lymph nodes, and they targeted that area on the back. And so it did help, the radiation did help with that. But the medication, it did clear up a spot in the lymph node, but still nothing on the breast. And it didn't completely clear up the spots in the back. And so he said that's what the reduction is showing. But the PET scan is, the medicine that we've had you on isn't working. And so he was talking about, options, things, for me to think about and to consider. And one of them was pills that he could give me. He said, but the pills they had severe side effects. and that one of them was severe diarrhea. And then we were talking about my first treatment that I went to weekly, way back in the beginning when I started this all. That seemed to be the most effective, and so he had me go back to that. And in fact, he got it approved, and I had my first treatment that day. When I see the doctor, I see him first, and then, well, I have my labs first, and then I see the doctor, and then I go back to the cancer, to this center where they administer the infusions and the drugs and stuff. And so they were able to switch it and get it approved, and so I had my first treatment last Thursday, and then I had my second treatment yesterday. And so I'll be going weekly. We'll see. He said the HER2 drugs that are on the market that are really good, he says they're just not working for you. And the chemo is the best thing that has worked for you. And so, guess who's going to lose her hair again? Moi. I don't care. It's fine. I've got hats, and I'm going to treat myself this time, and I'm going to get some more hats, some cute hats, hats and earrings. It'll be my thing, and I'm okay with that. I'm very hopeful. If they don't work, I asked him. I said, so what are what are the odds on this drug? And he said 50-50. And so, that's better than 0 of the drugs that I was taking, where they're not helping at all and the cancer is growing. So if it just even stops it for a period of time, that's good. I'm good with that. And it gives me longer. And in the meantime, I have decided that I am just, I'm living my life. I came to a point where I was kind of like, I don't know, I almost think I was just waiting, and living in the waiting really stinks. It's just not a good place, good or bad. Tell me what it is so I can deal with it. But waiting, I don't do well with that. And so we're going to do a bit of traveling. And we're going to, I'm going to keep my Etsy shop going, and I'm going to do my YouTube. I don't know how often I'll be able to be on doing a video. Number one, I don't know how my mojo, it's like it comes and goes, and recently it's been gone, or how I'm feeling. One thing that you'll notice, that my face is bright, I'm flushed. That's one thing that happens after my infusion. The first thing is that night I can't sleep, and I got up this morning. Well, we didn't go to bed till 1:30 because I was awake. And so when we did go to bed, I laid there and finally got up at 2:30 and came into my studio and started working on this project that I'm going to share with you. And I finally went to bed about 5:30, and I don't know, I got up about 8:30, and I get wired and can't sleep. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to sleep. But another thing that happens is I get real flushed in the face, and my upper chest area gets really red and hot. And so I can feel that starting to come. And at first I thought it's because I was futzing with the quilts and things like that. But I think it's because of the drug. And then what happened last Sunday, I guess, so it was like 3 days after the infusion, I just started, I was in a lot of pain. And I don't know, I'm going to ask my doctor about that, if that's a situation where the drug is fighting the cancer and, you know, so they're, where it's fighting it, I'm in more pain. I don't know, but I'm going to ask him about that. And so I was in a lot of pain for like 3 days and had to have, you know, some stronger drugs than I would normally take. But that seemed to ease up. And so, and that's doable. I'm not complaining. I'm just sharing with you the reality of it. And I hope that my journey is somewhat helpful for you, whether it's to ease your burden a little bit, that whatever it is that you might be going through, that it's okay. We'll get through it. You'll get through it. Somehow things happen. Or just to share my love with you. Share my love of my Savior, Jesus Christ, and God the Father and the Holy Ghost. I mean, I love them and am so grateful for their love for me and for you. And just to give you hope that, you know, life's good. Just visiting with a good friend. I wish that I could just have you sitting right here with me. You could have a cup of tea, or, you know, you can have coffee. I don't care. I've got a Keurig. You know, you can get those little things in there, and you can do that. Take care of that. I don't drink it, but go for it. And I can have my water, and we can just chat and work on something. We can do our embroidery work or work on a journal or just, you know, anything, nothing. It's just nice. Just nice to spend some time with you. Okay, so I'm not going to get very far on this project, but let's kind of get started. I finally found something that I think I can work with. And I know I have a couple of videos out there on, you know, these ephemera folders that I've made in the past. This one was done with paper bags, and I did, what's that paper? The thin but sturdy, you know what it is. My brain. Anyway, I did a book for my ephemera from Roxy's Creations, and I've got one also for Barbara with 49 dragonflies. Let me grab that. I'll show you that as well. That just, you know, just love these. I just love these for looking for certain ephemera, so I don't have to keep them in little tins and you try to stretch them apart. And what prompted me to go this direction was I just got Easter goodies from Rachel, and I spent 2 days, you guys. The Muse wasn't working, but I was watching TV and I was cutting like crazy. All of this. And so I needed another folder to be able to put things in there. And so what I decided to do this time, now if you sew, this will be super easy. If you don't, you just have to adjust and use a good glue that you trust, okay? You can use washi tape, you can use fabric, you can use whatever papers that you want. For this particular job, I decided that I wanted to go with scrapbooking papers. I have more scrapbooking 12 by 12 pads that I will never use, and so I went through some of them And part of my last night where I could not sleep, I was cutting them all down to the size that I'm going to use. So if you want to make one of these, you're going to need, I'm making my book 8 by 10 inches pages. 8 inches wide, 10 inches high. You adjust to whatever you want to do that way. And so I'm using scrapbook papers, and I'm doing 16 16 different prints, double, which will give me 8 pages. So So 16 different prints, and I'll do them so that, you know, when you open it this way, it's the same, you know, and I don't know about, well, I guess I could, I don't know about that one, because if I do it, we'll have to see. That would be a little trickier. But anyway, there's 8 pages in here, so you've got a lot of room. So I took it from the size of this one, but you can make it any size you want. You'll need glue. You'll need your paper to make your pockets, or page protectors or something, you know, with the plastic. And that's what I've decided to use this time, because I have a bunch that I picked up at a garage sale or something, and I just haven't used it, and so I decided to use that this time. And so a good glue, sewing machine, and then we'll talk about later, but we'll do a binding method as well. So what I'm doing is basically I'm doing 3 pockets. Mine are 2 inches wide, and they're clear. You want something that's got a clear, you know, tracing paper, you can use that, but you want a sturdy. You don't want a flimsy. You want something that's a little more sturdy. And there's that paper that I can't think of, that I know what it is, but I can't think of the name, that's akin to tracing paper, but it's a little more solid. So you want it the width of whatever your book is, and I'm doing 2 inch. And let me show you how it's kind of important that you kind of try them out. Your pockets may not be the same as my pockets. Most of these cutouts have 2 sizes, and so I am just putting those in. But see how pretty, how fun that is as you start, you know, then you just kind of start putting them in there. You have to sort of adjust a little bit. You want to be able to see, which is why it's important not to have it covered up. Now, you may not want yours as high as I have mine. That's fine. You just kind of adjust, okay? So what you're going to do is just, you're going to cut, you're going to glue, and you're going to stitch. I will stitch these together all the way around. I have my pockets on the back here too, so we can put more little guys, and I would put him down here because I don't want him poking up over that. So anyway, you get the idea. So that's what you're going to do is you're going to cut and glue. Now when I do a page, let's see, oh, I'm sorry this video is going super long, but let me just show you quickly, she says, ha ha ha, you're a funny girl, quickly. I take my glue stick and I just, on the ends, I just lightly glue the very end, and this is 2 inches, like I said, wide, and 8 inches across. Now, if you're not stitching, then you will just glue on 3 sides and put it down. And then you do another one. I don't have another one cut that's the right size, but I'll show you from just a little leftover. You know, then I would just kind of eyeball it and see where I want to do it. This is where you can really customize it to what things you're wanting to put in there. And they don't have to be cutouts. They can be actual, you know, pictures and different things that way. Just all kinds of ephemera that you want. And so you just adjust where you want your pockets to be, keeping in mind that your top pocket, for me, I don't want anything to go up over, because I want to be able to put my book in and slide it on a shelf. And I don't want it to bunch up or break or, you know, tear or anything that way. And so I try to stay away from that. You can, it's amazing the things you can put even in a small pocket. But anyway, so that's the assignment, guys, to go ahead and get started. I will come and do another video when I am further down the road, and hopefully you will be working on yours as well. Yeah, so strong, sturdy glue if you're just gluing, and if you're stitching, then you put your pockets on and then you stitch. And the way I did mine was just to stitch down and across and up, and then I stitched across on my other pockets and then trimmed off the threads. Trim off the threads. Quilters. Oh, what a ditzo. Okay, I love you guys. Have a fabulous day, and I hope to be with you very soon.